The universe cares not for your plans. It does not bend to your will. Every man feels the sting of this truth eventually. The illusion of control is a comforting lie, one that shatters when the storm arrives, leaving you adrift and broken. We are taught from youth to set goals, to fight for what we want, to assert our dominance over the external world. This is the narrative of progress, of achievement, the very bedrock of a success-driven society. Yet, beneath this veneer of agency lies a profound ancient wisdom that speaks of a different kind of power, the power of acceptance. Consider the soldier on the battlefield. His training, his equipment, his strategy, all are tools to influence the outcome. But the arrow already loosed, the unexpected flanking maneuver, the sudden fog that obscures vision, these are elements beyond his command. His survival, his effectiveness, depends not just on his skill, but on his capacity to react, to adapt, to accept the chaos and act within its constraints. This is not resignation, it is a brutal pragmatism. Ancient philosophers, particularly the Stoics, understood this deeply. They recognized that much of our suffering stems from desiring what is not within our power and fearing what we cannot prevent. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher-emperor, wrote extensively on this. He urged his own soul to remember that the world operates according to its own nature, and our role is to align ourselves with it, not to resist it fruitlessly. This is the bedrock of their philosophy, the dichotomy of control. Some things are up to us, and some things are not. Our peace hinges on distinguishing between them and focusing our energy solely on the former, while accepting the latter with equanimity. But what does it truly mean to accept fate? It is not about passive waiting or wallowing in despair. It is an active, intellectual and emotional stance. It means understanding that events unfold according to a causal chain far larger and more complex than our individual lives. It means recognizing that while you can strive, plan, and act with all your might, the ultimate outcome is often determined by forces external to your direct influence: luck, fortune, the actions of others, the very laws of physics and nature. To rage against these is to fight the tide, a battle guaranteed to exhaust and ultimately defeat you. This acceptance liberates the mind. When you stop fighting what is inevitable, you free up immense mental and emotional energy. This energy can then be channeled into what you can control: your responses, your judgments, your actions, your character. A man who accepts that he may fail, that he may face hardship, that he may not achieve every desire, is paradoxically better equipped to face those challenges when they arise. He is not blindsided by disappointment because he has already acknowledged the possibility. Think of a master craftsman. He works with wood, with metal, with stone. He understands the nature of these materials. He knows their strengths and their limitations. He does not curse the grain of the wood for being imperfect. He works with it, finding the beauty and utility within its inherent characteristics. He accepts the material for what it is and molds his work accordingly. This is acceptance of fate applied to one's craft, one's life. This philosophy provides a shield against the slings and arrows of fortune. When misfortune strikes, a job loss, a betrayal, a health crisis, the man who has cultivated acceptance does not shatter. His internal structure, his stoic citadel, remains intact. He grieves, he suffers, as any human would. But he does not succumb to existential despair. He can ask, "This has happened. What is the rational course of action now? How can I respond virtuously? No. Maybe. Ah." This is where the true strength lies. It is not the strength of brute force or unyielding stubbornness, but the strength of a deep, unshakable inner core. It is the strength of a tree that bends in the storm but does not break, its roots anchored firmly in the earth. The storm is fate, the bending is acceptance, the roots are your inner principles. Does this mean we abandon all ambition? Absolutely not. The Stoics were active participants in the world. They held positions of power, they engaged in commerce, they led armies. But they did so with a clear understanding of what was ultimately within their control and what was not. Their ambition was focused on acting virtuously, on fulfilling their duties with excellence, regardless of the external rewards or recognition. They sought to do their best, not necessarily to achieve a predetermined, externally defined success. The path of acceptance is challenging because it runs counter to the prevailing narrative of constant striving and external validation. It requires a profound shift in perspective, a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths about our own limitations and the nature of reality. It asks us to find dignity not in conquering the world, but in mastering ourselves in the face of it. So, how does a man begin to cultivate this acceptance? Start small. Identify areas in your life where you feel constant frustration or resentment because you are fighting against circumstances you cannot change. Perhaps it's traffic, the weather, the behavior of colleagues or strangers. Practice acknowledging these things without judgment. Simply observe, this is, I cannot change it. Then shift your focus to your own reaction. How will I respond to this? This practice builds mental fortitude. It trains the mind to distinguish between the battlefield of external events and the sanctuary of your internal world. It teaches you that while you may not control the waves, you can learn to surf. The ultimate aim is to reach a state where you no longer feel the need to wrestle with destiny. You see yourself as a part of a grand unfolding tapestry, and your role is to play your thread with integrity and courage. This is not a passive existence. It is a life lived with profound clarity and purpose, free from the self-inflicted wounds of futile resistance. Let us return to the soldier. His fate is uncertain. His actions matter, but the final arbiter is often beyond his reach. He must fight with all his skill and courage, but he must also accept the possibility of falling. This acceptance does not diminish his bravery. It underpins it. It allows him to fight without the crippling fear of failure, to act with clarity, to preserve his inner integrity even in defeat. This is the brutal, beautiful philosophy of accepting fate. It is the ultimate act of self-mastery, the source of unshakable peace. The universe will continue to spin, indifferent to your desires. But within you, a new strength can be forged. A strength that does not fear what may come, because it has already accepted its possibility. A strength that finds freedom not in changing the world, but in mastering the self within it.